On an autumn evening in the small town of Greenvale, a frantic 911 call broke the quiet. Police rushed to a quaint two-story home on Greenwood Drive, unaware that a night of violence and mystery would soon grip the entire community. Inside, 28-year-old Hannah Whitfield lay lifeless in the living room, shards of a shattered coffee table scattered around her. She had sustained multiple injuries, suggesting a brutal struggle, yet little else in the house seemed disturbed. It became immediately clear this was no accident. Hannah was well known in Greenvale. She worked at the local veterinary clinic, greeting clients with warmth and dedicating her free time to animal rescue efforts. Bright, caring, and motivated, she was about to enroll in a vet tech program. But her personal life had recently grown complicated. Friends noted she had broken up with her longtime boyfriend, Tyler Murray, citing growing tension and his possessive behavior. Whispers around town hinted that Hannah's final weeks had been marked by arguments and suspicions, setting the stage for an explosive conflict. Investigators swiftly zeroed in on Tyler. He and Hannah had dated since high school, appearing to be a perfect couple in social media photos. However, close friends painted a different picture, describing Tyler's jealous streak and controlling habits. He claimed he had not seen Hannah in days, insisting he was with a friend the evening she died. Yet officers noticed fresh scratches on his forearm. He attributed them to yard work, but the explanation raised eyebrows. Forensic technicians at Hannah's home found overlapping fingerprints, bits of hair, and muddy footprints near a living room window, suggesting someone might have entered or exited there. Hannah's phone, found cracked on the floor, held an especially chilling clue. Her last unfinished text read, "He's here. I have to." The text was never sent. Police suspected that he referred to Tyler, but no one could confirm. Neighbors soon stepped forward with conflicting statements. One insisted they saw Tyler's car outside Hannah's house around 8:30 p.m., just before the 9 p.m. 911 call. Another neighbor, however, reported seeing a different man, taller and wearing a dark hoodie, slip from the house moments before a glass-shattering scream. In Greenvale, rumors spread like wildfire. Most residents firmly believed Tyler was the killer. Others speculated a second suitor might be involved. Despite mounting suspicion, Tyler refused to budge from his alibi. He was cooperative, even distraught. Yet the contradictions remained, fueling the belief that he was hiding something. Meanwhile, detectives awaited more conclusive forensic results. 2 days later, Detective May Turner received a tip from a local store clerk. A man matching the dark hoodie description purchased rubber gloves and bleach an hour before the murder, appearing agitated. That man was identified as Ryan Caldwell, who worked at an auto body shop. Whispers suggested Ryan had briefly dated Hannah after her breakup with Tyler. Rumor had it he took the rejection badly. When questioned, Ryan admitted to buying bleach and gloves, but claimed it was for cleaning up a paint spill at work. Phone logs, however, revealed multiple calls and texts to Hannah on the night she died, one just 10 minutes before her neighbor reported hearing a scream. Was this a coincidence or a sign of darker intent? With 2 men on their radar, investigators struggled to piece together a definitive timeline. As the investigation stalled, a breakthrough arrived via the state crime lab. DNA found beneath Hannah's fingernails, likely from defensive wounds, did not match either Tyler or Ryan. The discovery pointed to an unknown male. Detectives re-examined the evidence: the footprints by the window, the fractured phone, and doorbell camera footage from a nearby home. That footage showed a shadowy figure in a baseball cap hovering near Hannah's driveway around 8:45 p.m., shortly after Tyler supposedly left but before the killing was reported. Speculation soared. Was there a third suspect? Had Hannah been caught in the crosshairs of someone else's agenda altogether? A co-worker from the veterinary clinic approached Detective Turner, revealing that Hannah had been auditing clinic finances on her own. She suspected embezzlement, money disappearing from accounts and records not adding up. Hannah mentioned she intended to confront whoever was responsible if she found proof. Detective Turner swiftly subpoenaed the clinic's financial records, discovering troubling irregularities pointing to one person: James Howerton, the clinic's assistant manager. James was known for his quiet demeanor and dependable reputation. No one would have guessed him capable of violence. Yet, as detectives dug deeper, they found evidence linking him to the missing funds and discovered he'd had several tense conversations with Hannah in the past week. Once detectives obtained a DNA sample from James, the lab compared it to the genetic material found under Hannah's fingernails. It was a match. Cornered, James confessed. He admitted he confronted Hannah that night, desperate to silence her and protect himself from exposure. When Hannah refused to back down, he shoved her in anger, causing her to crash into the coffee table. Panicking, he staged the scene to steer suspicion toward Tyler and Ryan, both of whom had complicated ties to Hannah. News of James Howerton's arrest stunned Greenvale. Many had demonized Tyler or Ryan based on rumor and partial evidence, convinced the murder stemmed from jealousy or an unrequited romance. Instead, the motive was far more sinister: embezzlement and the fear of being caught. Hannah's attempt to do the right thing ultimately sealed her fate. Tyler and Ryan were cleared of murder, though each faced intense scrutiny for misleading detectives early on. They both apologized to Hannah's family, mourning her loss and expressing regret for the confusion their half-truths had caused. With James behind bars for second-degree murder and embezzlement, Greenvale hoped the case was finally closed. Candlelight vigils lined Greenwood Drive in the weeks that followed, honoring Hannah's memory as a kind, dedicated young woman who championed animal welfare. The veterinary clinic established an animal rescue fund in her name. Greenvale residents came together to process their shock and grief, determined to learn from the tragedy. In the end, Hannah Whitfield's death was not the result of a lover's rage or a rejected admirer. Instead, it stemmed from a coworker's desperate attempt to hide his crimes. Despite the swirling gossip and a maze of possible suspects, the truth lay in a story of hidden greed and a victim who dared to expose it. Today, Hannah's legacy endures in the fund that bears her name, supporting the very animals she cared so deeply about. Meanwhile, James Howerton serves time, a man who chose violence over honesty. Greenvale has returned to its quiet routine, though a sense of sadness lingers over the town. For those who knew Hannah, there is no replacing her warmth. But her story remains a reminder that the worst motives can lurk where we least suspect them. This is the tragedy on Greenwood Drive, a tale of misplaced blame, unrelenting suspicion, and finally, a truth more chilling than anyone imagined. Let it stand as a testament to the cost of hidden wrongdoings, and to a community that learned, far too late, that sometimes the most obvious suspect isn't the real threat at all.